Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. We'll just wait a few more minutes, maybe about 2 more minutes, and then we'll get started. Okay, we'll go ahead and get. Let's see here. Last person. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. Good morning, everyone. I hope that everyone is doing well. Um, how was trivia night last night? Were any of you able to attend? So Linda was there. Did any other students attend? You could just put a thumbs up if you did or if you didn't. That's good. Were you guys put into different teams or was it individual? Too much homework to do. Yeah. Okay, well, hopefully for those that oh, individual, thanks, Audrey. So for those that were able to attend, I'm glad that you were able to. I hope that y'all enjoyed it. It's a little bit different than the different format that we've had throughout the regular day. So hopefully it was just a chance to meet with other folks as well as just to have fun. Okay, so to get started, I have an icebreaker for us. Um, I pull up my notes here. It's going to be, we'll all be in the same room. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be asking you all a few questions. It's really, I mean, the different title for this name for this game could be, would you rather, um, what do you prefer, this or that? Okay. So then, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say two would you rather do this or that? And if you choose the first one, we're going to use the what is it? The reaction. We're going to use the thumbs up. And if you choose the second one, then it's going to be the clap. I mean, on my end, that seems to me like that's the only two reactions that we have that I have on here. So I'm assuming that's the same thing that you both have. All of you have. Got it. So first choice is going to be a thumbs up, and then the second choice is going to be a clap. And then I'm going to choose randomly one of you to kind of just like explain like, okay, I chose this one because this, or just I chose this one because I like it. You don't have to elaborate. Sounds good? Thumbs up. Okay. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so we'll get started. Cough. Would you rather drink coffee or tea? So coffee would be thumbs up, tea would be a clap. Can y'all see the thumbs up in the clap as well? Yeah. Okay. So we have a lot of coffee drinkers. Actually, it's a good amount. Coffee or tea? That sounds good. Let me go to the next one. Do you prefer cats or dogs? A lot of dog lovers here. Okay, thank you for sharing. So if you can take out, if you don't have a reaction, go ahead and just type it in the chat. I also have it up, and then we can read it through the chat as well. But it seems like there's more dogs than cats. So how many of you have dogs? And you could just put a thumbs up if you have a dog. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of you have dogs. How many of you, 6, 7, Elizabeth does too. How many of you owns a cat? You could do a thumbs up for this cat one. 2 folks has cats. Okay, perfect. And then Emmy, do you have a name for your cat? You can unmute yourself and just tell us the name if you have a name.
My cat's name is Pop Tart.
Oscar?
Pop Tart.
Oh, that's cute. Pop Tart. That's cute. Okay, and then let's go to the next question. Do you prefer to be indoors or outdoors? There's a good variety. It's really half and half. A lot of you, half of you like being indoors, the other half likes being outdoors. Okay. And I'm sure you noticed that this is very broad. You're like, well, it's just too hot outside. And of course, I'm going to be indoor, but just generalizing typically what you gravitate to. Okay. Let's see here. Patty, like what did you choose, indoor or outdoors? First choice is indoor, Linda.
I think I did it wrong. I meant to choose outdoors.
Outdoors? Is it just because of outdoors activities that you prefer?
Sorry, can you say that again? I can't hear.
Oh, just just that. What is it about being outdoors that you prefer?
Sure, and like adventures and stuff. So I'd rather be outside because if you're inside, you know everything already.
Very true. Okay, so then let's go to the next question, which is, do you prefer the mountains or the ocean? Mountains, thumbs up. Ocean is clap. We have a lot of ocean lovers here. That's awesome. What let's go with Jodeci. Jodeci, I think you chose ocean. What is one of have one how what is do you have a favorite beach or favorite ocean or like an ocean, a beach that you want to go see? And where is it?
I don't have a favorite,
Mm.
but my mom's favorite is Bodega Bay
Yes.
in Santa Rosa. And it's really pretty, and I think that if I would say something was my favorite, I think that one would be my favorite.
Oh, that's
It's just
beautiful.
so pretty, and like, that's where I took my senior pictures from.
Mhm. That's exciting. How about you, Roxana?
I live near Pacifica Beach where there's a Taco Bell on the beach, which is like a cantina and it looks so
Mhm.
nice. And it's I love Taco Bell, so it's pretty convenient when I'm at the beach.
That's awesome. Pacifica, is that near is it Montara Beach?
I have
Is that the
no
one I'm talking?
idea. No
Pacifica.
idea.
I just thought of it. Okay, so who was my mountains people? I think it was uh Emily. Do you have a favorite? I guess just a hiking area. I'm assuming, or a place that you like to go to.
I think there's we have a local one called Mount Diablo. That's just like the basic one, and I like going there only because of the memories. I used to go all the time when I was little with my family.
Mhm.
And there's like mines and stuff, and it's pretty cool. They have like a tour. They tour that like you could go there and tour the mines inside.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool. You could get lost if you like go off the like the main trails, so
Mhm.
that's kind of exciting.
That's exciting. So, by the raise of hand, how many of you are from the Santa Rosa or like Rona Park local area? Actually, a thumbs up, I meant. Okay, so there is one, two, three, four, five of you. So I know that we have a lot of folks that are not from the area who might be interested in learning more about different hiking areas and beaches that you can go to. So Irving, do you have a favorite place to visit, outdoorsy place, either hiking area or like the ocean, beaches that you like that you think other students would like too?
Well, a good beach I always go to is North Salmon Creek. I don't know if you guys know where that is, and well, not necessarily hiking, but for the view, Sonoma Mountain is definitely like nice.
How
Nice
far
on
is that from here?
Sonoma Mountain is probably like to Petaluma and then like 10 minutes up Sonoma Mountain Road.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it.
That sounds good. Somehow, like I'm writing these things down because I'm still figuring out, like, okay, which places I want to go and see. Who else? Well, I think Natalie is from the area too. Natalie, how about you? Any recommendations?
I don't know about the beach, but in Sonoma, there's like this, it's called Cavedale, and there's like a little waterfall that you can walk down to, which is, I think, is like really cute.
Oh, pretty.
Yeah. So it's like 30 minutes away from Runner Park.
Mm-hmm. You want to put that waterfall names or that trail named in the chat?
Yeah.
And then let's do one more. Who was it? Was it Kimberly? Kimberly, how about you?
Annandale State Park is pretty fun to hike. There's different trails that you could take and stuff like that, and I think it's pretty nice. You kind of like walk along, I think one of like the reservoirs around the area too. It's by like kind of like the outskirts of Santa Rosa, like around like Yalupa, like
Mm-hmm.
southeast ish, or like I don't know exactly where in Santa
Yeah.
Rosa, but it's a pretty nice trail.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Because I know that when I first went up here, it was I was curious about different places, like what kind of hiking areas do you have up here? The beaches, what beaches do you prefer? Which ones are dog friendly? Which one's not dog friendly? And so thank you for sharing that. Okay, next question we have is: do you prefer small town or big city? Small town and a big city. A lot of small towns here. Right, it's very broad, right? You grew up in a small town, maybe in your younger, like 20s, 30s, being in a big city, but maybe seeing yourself going back to the small town when you get older. Yeah, definitely. And of course, I know some of you are from the bigger cities, and you're going to come up here, and then of course we know that Rona Park is a small town, so but it'd be nice. Okay, and then we have: are you a morning person or a night person? We have some night. That's a good mixture of night and morning. Okay, good to know. Neither. Yuli's like neither. What do you prefer? Yuli, what do you prefer?
Well, it's hard for me to wake up in the morning, and I go to sleep really early, but I would prefer morning, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good. Okay, so would you consider yourself more of a introvert or more of an extrovert? I guess an introvert in terms of, do you value your alone time? Like, do you need to like have alone time to regain energy? Do you like extroverted? Do you like being around people? Like, people give you energy and you love that? Okay, so we have a good mixture of both as well. So that's good to know. And then let's see here. Do you prefer to when you're thinking about jobs, right? Do you prefer to have like a desk job, like sitting down all day, or do you prefer to stand all day? Sit versus stand. Depends on where you are and who I'm around. Desk job, desk job. Mm-hmm. I have a good mixture of both as well. Let's see. Let's go to the next question. Do you prefer working with people, or do you prefer a job that where you can work independently by yourself? So with people, thumbs up. Independently, clap. Mm-hmm. They have a lot of thumbs up here. Got it. That's exciting to see. Yep, definitely a commonality with a lot of you is we want to work with people. Okay, go to the next one. First one is, I know what career path I want to pursue. Second is, I am exploring. Mm-hmm. Okay. See more of a thumbs up, which means a lot of you are kind of having you have an idea what you want to pursue, but of course there's some of that are exploring as well. That's awesome. Okay. And then let's see here. More related to your major. I am content with the major that I'm at right now, or I plan to change my major. Content with your major, I plan to change my major. Mm-hmm. Sounds good. So a lot of us are content with where we're at right now. Perfect. So let's see here. And then lastly, I feel good about the fall semester, or I feel nervous about the fall semester. Mm-hmm. Yes, yes, yes. You have a good range of a lot of us who are a little bit nervous about the upcoming semester. I totally understand that. Okay, so thank you for joining in that I guess that icebreaker. Again, as you can already tell, a lot of my questions started turning more towards asking like, what are some of your interests? Like, what is some of your preference? And I want to be able to share that with all of you, because I think that when you are diving into your major or diving into your career, these are questions that you're going to probably be asking yourself, right? Are you an indoor person? Are you an outdoor person? Do you like working with people? Do you not like working with people? So I think the earlier you realize that, the more the easier it is for you to solidify, like, okay, I know that these are the careers that I'm interested in. This is what I'm going to do well in. Are you more of an introvert? Are you an extrovert? So I think these are just questions to kind of think about it. And I think I'm asking these questions because it ties into our topic of today, which is going to be diving more into majors, the academics piece, like what I shared with all of you. And so I know that for today's Canvas assignment, some of your assignments are to meet the majors. So just by a thumbs up, how many of you have already started looking at those material on Canvas regarding the meet the majors? And it's okay if you haven't. Bless you, Linda. Okay, so it seems like we haven't explored it yet, which means that all of these conversations might be a little bit new, right? But okay, so another question is, when I say GE classes, how many of you are familiar with that term and know what I mean? Okay, quite a few of you. Perfect. All right. So then the goal for today is I don't have any presentation for all of you for this topic. What I'm doing is I'm going to be sharing my screen and I'm going to be going into the website, the Sonoma State website, and showing you where you can go and find this information. Okay. Because I think that if I just have a presentation, that doesn't tell you where you need to go to find them. Okay. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to share my screen. Because we're going to cover a few things. I have a slide here that I'm gonna show you first, and then to kind of talk about degrees, and then we will go into the more specific. And the point of today is I'm not going to go into too much details, only because I know that tomorrow you all have a presentation specifically on this that would go into even more detail. Okay, so think of it as like an introduction piece. All right, so this is just part of a presentation that I worked on, but I think that the visual is going to be useful. This is pretty much the overview of your degree requirements, right? We have your GE requirements, it's general education courses that everyone has to take, which is about 48 units, right? And those units, the wording units, you'll learn more about that, especially tomorrow as well. And then we have major requirements, and that's of course is pertaining to your major. And then we have something called university elective, which are like additional classes that you take. And the reason why we have units here is because after your 4 years here with us, you have to have at least 128 units to graduate from Sonoma State. So these units that you see here and here and here, they have to add to be that 120. Okay, so we know for sure that GE requirement is going to be 48 units. Major requirements, depending on what your major is, the units differs. And then after that, depending on how much major and GE requires, university elective differs. Okay, so let me give you an example, a different example. So I'm going to go to we have the Sonoma State catalog here, which is going to be one of your good friend. Okay, so I've already opened it up on this different tab here, but you could just Google. It's as simple as Googling SSU catalog, and it's the first one that appears here. Okay, so you click on this one. It's going to take you here. Again, it's a reference tool that we as advisors and US students use, and so it's going to be very useful. So you want to make sure you go to the left side tiles here and go to programs by department. So programs by department is going to tell you, it's going to show you all the majors that you have here. So one of the ones that, like for example, y'all know from me that I specialize in the biology, so I had some of the sciences. So I'm going to use that as a comparison. So you're going to see some that says BS, and the Bachelor's of Science, and then the other says Bachelor's of Arts. And that's also important to know. So first I'm going to go to the biology. I click on the biology, the BS. So right here, this is what makes up your degree requirement to the 120. You see that? For here, it's about 48 units, but we know that some of these courses, it's saying 36 here because some of your GE counts towards the major, okay? And then we know that the major core requirements are about 23 units. The major electives pertaining to the bio major electives is about additional 24. So we're looking at about 47 major specific classes. And then we also have support courses, right? And that's an additional 31. So the general electives here is only saying 6 units. So it's telling us that after you're done with your GE and after you're done with all your major specific courses, you're only 6 units away from the 120 to graduate. Okay, so then the general electives really means that you could take any classes as long as you take 6 units of it to meet the 120. And as you scroll down, you get to see specifically what some of the major core requirements are, which are these ones. And some, just choosing from the list here, research experience, major electives, choosing 24. These are the support courses that all bio students have to take. And it has some of the unit breakdowns. They also tell you if the
Christina, you cut off.
Yeah, your camera's a little bit frozen there. Uh-oh.
Sorry about that. Can y'all hear me? Okay, perfect. Getting back to where we left off. Okay, so I went back to the main page where it has a list of majors here, right? So I'm gonna go to the BA. So what you're gonna notice here is the numbers are different, right? The GE is gonna stay the same, but the major in the major elective and support courses, the amount of units they require is less than the BS. So as we know, when we talk about the BS versus BA, the Bachelor's of Science is going to be more specific to the major that you want. The BA is going to be more broad. It's going to allow you to kind of choose the classes that you want within that major itself. But the important here, the main difference is, of course, you see here how the general electives is a lot bigger for the BA versus the BS. That's something that you want to be mindful of, because I know that a lot of you, some of you are science majors, some of you are not. So when you're a science major, you're going to see the general elective units varies. So for anyone who wants to do the BA in biology, for example, you know for sure that, okay, my major itself is only this much. I need 23, 24 units of just whatever general electives, as long as I meet the 120. So whenever I see students that has this meaning general elective, this is when I talk about minors, right? So that's something that you're going to hear too, is minors is going to be, you have a major, and you have a minor, you could potentially have a minor. A minor is about 20 units only. And so this would be what I recommend. And hopefully, I won't dive into it too much. Just know that we definitely pay attention to the units a little bit more. Okay. So I know that I use biology as an example. Then let me see how many. Let's see, let's go with, if someone wants to let's look at one. Someone just unmute yourself and throw me a major.
Christina, by the way, I don't know if you were meant to be sharing your screen.
I needed to share my screen. You're absolutely right. Thank you so much. There it is. Okay, so someone just throw out a major for me and I would take a look at it.
Psychology.
Psychology, okay. Thank you. Let's go down to psychology. It's a BA, right? So if you look at this one, for first-time freshmen, a general for GE courses, we know that it's going to be about 41 units because there are opportunities for the GE to also double count as a GE course. And then we know that the major requirements is only 44, which means you have 35 units of electives. So that means that 35 random units that you can take for anywhere as long as you reach the 120. Does that make sense? And so then this is where I like to tell students in psychology, hey, you have 35 units of elective units. Why won't you, it's not a bad idea to do a minor, especially if you have interest in something else. So we have a lot of students who do like psychology with a minor in early childhood studies, because again, like I mentioned, a minor is only about 20 units. But even then, right, if you do a minor, you're still like 15 units away from, you still need to take 15 units of random classes, right, to meet the 120. Does that make sense? And so like, look at the amount of units that you have, look at the flexibility of it. If it's a STEM majors, then it's a little bit harder to be able to do a minor. But if you have a Bachelor's of Arts in another major and you look at your elective units here, know that you have opportunities to do a minor. And so if you go down here, psychology is one of our impacted majors, which means that there are certain requirements that students have to do. So they have some of that information here. And then they have like more information. Let me move this over here. Major requirements over here. And then they talk to you about like the lower division courses that you need. And then the upper, it tells you like complete one course from 4 out of 5 breadth areas. And then if you scroll down more, you see the breadth areas, right? Upper division breadth areas. You have to choose one course from holistic, and they give you a whole list here. One course from clinical counseling, you choose one here. Developmental, one here. Social and personality, one here. Cognitive and physiology, one here. And then the additional courses would be anything else as long as you meet the 40 units in that psychology. Okay, so it's going to be very specific to your major, but this is like the catalog is where I want you to start with, because it also has really good information about like what is psychology, and you can click on these. Like for example, let's look at lifespan development. You can click on it and it tells you what the class is about, and it tells you what GE it covers. So this is a great example. Psychology 302 is, if you take psychology 302, for example, it's going to count towards developmental for your major, and it's going to count towards GE area E. So it's going to double count. And so those are things that you want to take a look at. And so they also tell you when it's typically offered, and the teaching mode. We know that all the teaching modes can be online, and whether or not it's a graded course. Okay, so this is going to be a good friend of yours as you're trying to figure out what is it that you want to do with which major you're interested in. And of course, with the list, you're able to go in and look at all of the different majors, okay? AMCS, for example, is going to be the same thing. If we look general elective, 38 to 40 at this point, which means that make sure, I really encourage you to do a minor. And these are just showing you different core courses here, choosing 8 from this list. And so any questions on this catalog? Does it make sense? I think it's just going to take a lot just to kind of review it, but any questions so far regarding this?
If we minor in something, are we still going to be able to get like jobs with the minor?
Jobs with the minor? Yeah. And so what I like to tell students about the minor is that, when I think about the minor, there's 2 things that I think about. You chose a major, you chose your specific major because that might be something that you want to do. A minor can be something that will supplement that, right? So for example, psychology. Psychology is very specific to to learning about yourself, right? The person as a whole, learning about your cognitive, your development, right? And then I mentioned ECS. ECS is really focusing on kids from like K to I think 8th grade, that age group right there. And so if you know that you want to work with kids and you want to be psychology major, ECS just kind of makes sense, right? Because it'll focus more on working with a younger population, and you could use that to supplement your degree. So that's one way to look at it. It's looking at different majors and minors and how it will supplement what you want to do career-wise in the future. Another way to look into it is whether or not let's see here. It's whether or not, yes. Oh, sorry, I keep using acronyms. I apologize. Please let me know. Thank you, Linda, for correcting that. It just comes out. But yes, so like that would be another example, right? And the other example would be, I have students who are, who loves English, and they want to, let's see here. Yeah, loves English, for example, right? But they also love music, right? And so then there might not be an immediate connection between the two right off the bat, but then it's because you're choosing a minor that really kind of touches upon some of your other interests, your hobbies, right? So it doesn't have to align with one another. My thing is more of if it's something that's interesting to you, you want to explore that, I encourage that. If it doesn't supplement your major, it's okay. As it's fine. You're fine with that too. Another big one is languages, right? So for example, being like a early childhood studies major, and you might have a minor in Spanish, or being a Spanish major, and you might have a minor in I don't know, like engineering or computer science, right? It doesn't have to align with one another, but if you have room for it and you're interested in those majors and minors, then why not? It doesn't hurt to do it, especially if you can guarantee that you're leaving within a timeline that you're giving yourself. Can you minor in 2 things? Yes, you can. You can definitely minor in 2 things. It doesn't, again, we're looking at the units here, and it's really going to be based on how long you are willing to be here at the university as well. I know that we're pushing for most of you probably don't want to stay here past the 4 years, and that's fine. If you can squeeze in summer and you can squeeze in potentially winter classes, then you can really do that as well. You can even double major and double minor at the same time. Absolutely. Absolutely. So this is where you want to meet an advisor, right? Because if you're double majoring, double minoring, then you want to be very strategic about when you take certain classes. Do you have to do summer? Again, when we talk about summer courses, you can only do lower division courses in the summer at the JC, at the community college, right? And so then that's something that hopefully they'll cover. I'll try to cover, but I also know we have time constraints, so I don't want to dive into it too much, but yes, very possible. As long as we take advantage of summer and winter, you could do all of that and still graduate in a timely manner. Okay. So with that, the catalog, again, is a good friend, very best friend actually, that I would recommend you do. So this one, again, it dives into like the major more specifically, okay? And then, so we cover let's see, I have another chat here. Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to go into more of the GE requirements, okay? So general education is designed to kind of help give students the opportunity to explore and really look at to explore different discipline within the university. Okay, and what that means is that there's certain areas that you have to. Where did I put that? Right here. General education is 48 units, right? And it's different courses into different areas of study. And so this is a breakdown of it. So how I got here is, how did I move this? Got it. I went to, if you Google SSU GE pattern, it's going to show you different things, right? I don't want you to look at the 50 unit because that does not pertain to you, but you're going to look at the second one. And we click on this one. It's going to bring you here, and you make sure that you see like the general education home button here. This is what you want, okay? So what I'm going to go down to is the graduation requirements. So this is pretty much the makeup of what GE looks like. And some of this might look familiar to you already. You are going to hear us talk about GE requirements and hear us talk about Area A, which covers our English language, communication, critical thinking. Area B, which is our science and math. Area C, which is arts and humanities. Area D, social sciences. Area E, lifelong learning and self-development. You're going to hear us talk about civil studies graduation, the graduation writing assessment requirement, American institution, critical race studies, okay? It looks like it's a lot, but trust me, if you look at it, it's going to look a lot easier. It's going to be easy to kind of look at it and see what classes you still need. But even embedded into this general area A, we also have the subcategories, right? You're going to hear us talk about A1, which is our oral communication. We're going to talk about A2, which is our written communication. So all of you are going to be pre-enrolled in English, right? And we'll talk about pre-enrollment on Monday. And it also have A3, which covers critical thinking. So these are the very specifics now. And I believe when you meet with Emily and Linda today, Emily, I see you on my screen, so you can nod your head. You meet with them today, and I believe they're going to cover some of the requirements. Are you? A little bit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and hopefully, if not with Emily and Linda, definitely want to make sure that we look into your ARR because it lays it out too. And I think as you visually see it, it'll make more sense. But again, it breaks down like you need a physical science, you need a life science, you need your math, and then you need an art, humanities, just one classes for these ones. You need 9 units, which is again equivalent to 3 courses in social sciences. And then you need 1 class in area E. So again, like it's a lot of information here, but you don't remember, you don't have to do it alone. Like you're gonna meet with us and we're gonna walk you through this and show you different visuals so that it would make sense for you. And then, so this is on the website, but I know that they have a resource page. If you go down to resources, you'll see like a few like clickable links here. So the one that you want for yourself is you want the one that pertains to you. You're going to see a lot of them, and a lot of them are not going to be yours. The one that's your GE pattern is this one. For all students entering fall 2019 to spring 2021, okay? If you click on this one, it is a PDF of a form. It kind of breaks down what I just talked about, but just kept it at one, like a 2-pager here, okay? The second page just tells you what the learning outcomes are, but this is kind of like another visual that would guide you to choosing your courses. So again, we'll look at 1 class here, 1 class here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, or 1 here. And then like 1 here, 1 here, another 1 here. Social science is 9 units, so just 3 classes here. So kind of almost like, okay, looking at it to see where you completed, checking it off here, and then using that to guide you, especially when you're choosing classes for the following semesters. Okay, so these are all online. I encourage you to take a look at it and see, let me know if you have any questions about this specifically. And if you look into these ones, let's see here. You can explore these too. It just tells you different like criteria. You don't need to know it for now though. But what's important is just revise GE pattern here that you might be seeing this tomorrow during the presentation from regarding the degree requirements. Okay, so that's GE in a nutshell. And of course, all students will need to do that. We'll need to cover the GEs. We'll need to work towards doing the major, and then whatever is left, ultimately that's how I see it. You do your GE, you do your major. Whatever is left, that's university electives. And then that university elective could be minors, or it can be just random classes that you want to take. Okay, and again, it's going to be so much major specific that all of you are going to have a different version of that. So make questions, like what questions do you have for me? Because I know this can be a little bit confusing, especially if this is not all new to you. Okay. Okay. So the next thing, let's see here. Did anyone have a question? I don't see anyone unmuting themselves, so I think we're okay. Okay. So another thing too is departments. Each of your department has a website. So I'm gonna go back to sharing my screen. Which one was it? Each of your major is going to have their own website. So let's look at SSU. Let's go to business. Okay. Actually, someone unmute yourself and just throw me a major that you're curious about.
Art history.
What is it?
Art history.
Art history. SSU art history. You Google that first page that you see here. This is their website. Okay. So they're going to have tons of information here that I want to encourage all of you to take a look at. You can learn more about it. They're going to have some announcements here, where to find them, some of the different applications. But you want to learn more about it, just go to the about art and history. We have that there, and then our history here. Degree programs is important because we know that our history has different majors. So you can do, so if you look here, for example, you get the BA in art history, BA in art studio, Bachelor's of Fine Arts, the art history minor, art studio minor, minor in applied art. So there's quite a few here. So now it's just a matter of us clicking into it and seeing what information they have on this page for you. So for here, for example, it kind of lays out what we saw earlier in the catalog. It tells you 51 units of GE, 43 of major requirements, 26 of general electives, 120 to graduate. So that you can kind of just scroll down here and see what classes you need. So we know that these are the requirements for the major. You need to take art history 210 and 211, and then you get to kind of choose some of the courses during, you need to focus on some of these area here. Okay, so read through this all because these are, great information for you as a student to know. Art history course description, if that's something that you're curious about, it brings you to here. And you can always just click on it to kind of read more about it. Okay, and then I'm going to go back, take me back to the website. They also have a sample for your plan for the BA in art history, so take a look at that. This will really help you choose classes, especially during your spring semester when you're choosing for the spring semester and or your sophomore year. And then another part is the advising piece. You want to see what advisors are available to you and who they are. So they have information about it here, but they have their advising the office hours here. And this is what I want you all to do for your major, because when you talk about office hours, the website is usually where they're going to put them. So this is where the office are, the people that you are going to meet. Most of your faculty advisors is going to be here, and they're going to have like the location and their Zoom information, hopefully, and just more information here. So now the next question could be like, Christina, how do I know who my advisor is, right? I'm going to unshare it, and I want to stop sharing just by a thumbs up. Like, how many of you, I know that I share that your advisor is Alma already next semester or in the fall semester, but how many of you already knew, how many of you know where to find that information? Or were you told that already? Like, when I say faculty advisors, do you know who I mean, and do you know how to find that? Okay, perfect. So I am sharing my screen again. So we're gonna go to your online services, your tabs here, and you're gonna go to my SSU, and then you're gonna log in. Let's see here. So yours is gonna look similar to mine, but it's gonna look a little bit different, okay? So if I go, hold on, I have to unshare it and then do it and then share it again, hold on. So because I don't have a student, I'm just gonna use our fake student. We named them Sally Sonoma. So let me go find Sally Sonoma. Okay. So now I'm gonna share my screen with you again. Right here. So this looks familiar, yes? Your student center is everyone, put a thumbs up for me if you've already seen this already. Actually, Emmy and Elizabeth, I see you on my screen. Thank you. Okay, some of you have already. Okay, but this is where you find your advisors to the right here. So you're going to see a bunch of information here. Sally does not have as much information as you will already have, but on the right side, that's where you're going to find your advisor under program advisor. So for this one, for Sally, they don't have a specific advisor, so they refer them to the advising center. Okay, but for you, yours should or eventually will say Alma Sanchez, and then based on your major, it's going to show you an additional name of another of your faculty advisor from your major. Okay, so you're going to see two names here. So if you don't have it already, that's okay. Just know that this is where you find it. Sounds good? Emmy, Elizabeth, thumbs up, or Emily, nod your head. That makes sense. Thank you. Okay, so we have that to find your advisor. Going back to the website, another thing too is, of course, I always go to the faculty and staff because you're gonna have different professors. And sometimes the information is going to be in front of you. Sometimes it's going to be hard to find them. But always refer to the department website and look for them directly because it's going to have their email on here. And that's where I think most students is going to need to find is their email. So they usually will have all the lecturer and staff here, and you can find the information here. One thing to also make a note is that, let's see if I can find them. Professor, assistant, oh, maybe I don't have it here. Contact us. Okay, always go to contact us because then you find their information here, but two, department chair. And that's something that I want you to just think about because you think of it as like the head of that, just that head of that department. So, so whenever you have any questions or something that, if you have questions, maybe your faculty advisor is not reaching out to you and you're having a hard time, it doesn't hurt to reach out to the department chair to let them know that, hey, I'm a student from your major. I have questions about this. I don't know who my faculty advisor is. Can you assist me in that direction? But just know that this is another point person for you, especially if you have questions regarding the major, especially if you don't have a assigned faculty advisor. But the reason why I mentioned department chair is, for example, a department chair is really important, especially when you're finding yourself needing to do paperwork, for example. Like I know that there's some students who wants to, when you change your major, you might need a department chair signature, right? Especially for impacted major. Like if you want to move from a major to biology and major to psychology, you want to go to sociology, those are impacted majors and those require a department chair signature. So that's why it's important for you to know that so that you go to the department website and look for that department chair because it has the email there. Okay, so explore a lot of this. I think that some of you already started exploring a lot of these resources, but I think just, familiarizing yourself with those things could be really helpful. Okay, I know that we're 4 minutes away from the end of our session, so what questions do you have for me? Again, want to reiterate that what I talked today, you don't have to remember all of it. Like tomorrow they have a session at what time was it? A session at 2 p.m. that they're going to go over the degree in GE overview. So that's for, they have that at 2 p.m. And also at the same time, if you're interested in Hutchins, I believe we have a Hutchins student, I think a Hutchins student here. If you're interested in Hutchins, they also have a degree overview from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Okay, so make sure you check that out. All of this are in your Canvas, so I encourage you to refer to your Canvas, and the links are also there. So actually, let me pull up the Canvas here. They're on here, and so then I know that today you also have, the Black Faculty Staff Association and BSU Student Club Mixer. Definitely attend. That's also available to you. It starts at 1 p.m. They have other videos that you should watch. I know a big one is the Redwood Credit Union Financial Literacy. I hear good things about this module, so it's going to be very informational as a college student. So make sure you do this and do this at your own time. And then the Meet the Majors here is what I was talking about earlier. I know that there's different links that you can click on that can give you different information. So if you just click on one of them, it's going to take you to a folder that has the different materials, like different flyers from different majors. So ECS postcard could have very useful information for you here. So take a look at it, okay? So those are pretty much the main things that are happening today. It's really the meet the majors, the credit union is really important, and also the cultural affinity group optional meeting here. Sounds good? Okay, yeah, Roxana, I will, thank you. I will send the links to the major requirements section. Were you talking about the catalog, Roxana? I think Roxana may have been mentioning. Okay, thank you. Yes, yes, I'll send that. I will. What I'll do is I'll just send a link to all of you, so you can have access to the main catalog page, and then you'll go in and kind of look at the majors that you want. Okay. Okay. So we talked about that already. Those are the things to anticipate for the rest of the day. Still available for drop-ins from 1 to 5. So sign up. If not, just come in, and then the students do let me know that you're here to meet with me, and I'll come right back. Again, my goal is to meet with each of you at least once within the summer bridge. If I already met with you, that's fine. Still come and see me. We can still talk. And then let's see here. What other information do I have for you? Do all of you know that you don't have Zoom sessions from 10 to 12 today? Yeah? Okay, so what's going to happen here, I mean, from Canvas, it says no Zoom session, so I'm assuming you all know that already. I think it's just going to be independent work. So from there, like after our session, I'm going to end the recording, and then at noon, that's when you'll come back and meet with Emily and Linda, okay? Sounds good. If you have additional questions, please let me know. Email me, come see me during my drop-ins. If you definitely, I'll remind you. Do I see you tomorrow? Hold on, let me see that. I don't think I'll see you tomorrow. So then let me give you, I definitely want to make a spiel about tomorrow's schedule as well. I will not see you tomorrow, which means I'll see you Monday. Okay, so with that being said, this is what Friday's schedule is going to look like for you if you haven't looked at it. For the 90950 schedule, it's going to be Wellness Day workshop. And so that's what you're going to be doing instead of meeting with me tomorrow. I think that's really exciting. I think that's going to be like a cooking demonstration. That's really exciting. And if from there, you also don't have any Zoom for your 10 o'clock. And so then you'll go to your bridge leader at noon. That's when you go on Zoom. And then again, I'll be available from 1 to 5 for one-on-ones. And then we have our Native and Indigenous student cohort gathering at 1 to 2. And then this is the one that I really want you to attend. It's a 2, if you can, from the 2 to 3 p.m. It's the SSU Degree of General Education Overview. And the link is all here. And they kind of go over some of the things that I talked about today, but hopefully they'll go into more in depth into it. And then at the same time, they also have the SSU Hutchins Degree Overview. So take a look at that, okay? And then different videos that you should watch. And I think that's it. Sounds good. So that's the layout between the rest of the day today and tomorrow. So I won't see you. If you come in for one-on-one, I'll see you then. But if not, I'll see you Monday. Okay? Sounds good? All right, thumbs up, and then we'll go. Thank you, everyone. Well, you enjoy the rest of your day. Have a happy Friday. Have a happy weekend. Great weekend. Hopefully you stay indoors and stay cool. I will see you all on Monday, okay? Bye. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.